I'm Janet Anderson, and I'm the Executive Vice President at Investors. As Executive Vice President at Investors, I have a number of roles in the organization. I oversee all of our school-based investments, where we invest in school improvements that come from the schools themselves. And then I also have a hand in our larger strategic initiatives, where we work in partnership with schools to create change.
My name is Marinelle Ruminaire, and I work at Investors as the Vice President for Strategic Initiatives. So my role at Investors is to oversee all of our district-facing work with the Boston Public Schools, our major system initiatives, including the Arts Expansion Initiative and our Improving Schools Initiative. Investors is a school improvement organization. We're a nonprofit that brings together strategic philanthropy, education expertise, and implementation support to support schools individually and the school district as a whole in their improvement efforts.
We work in all types of schools, mostly here in the Boston area. So we work with elementary, middle, K-8s, high school, so all different grade configurations. We work with schools that have autonomies. We work with schools that are regular district schools. We work with charter schools as well, all here in the area. In our experience, the catalyst for change often starts with a school leader, maybe from within the school, not always someone who's new to the school, but who decides that they need to take a new approach for getting results for kids. And typically, while the leader might be the catalyst for the conversation, the feeling that we're working really hard, but we're not getting the outcomes we'd like to see, are pretty deep-rooted in the teachers in that school as well. And so in some ways, the catalyst is the leader articulating what a number of teachers are feeling. And so then they can all rally together with this goal to affect change.
Schools that are ready to make change really vary in their characteristics. I think one of the things that's always important is that schools first, by schools I mean teachers and staff in schools, see that there's a need for change. So the first step is really looking around and saying, we need to be doing something differently to achieve the results that we'd like to have for our students. So that willingness to say, there's something here that's not working and we'd like to make it work better, we at Investors call that willingness. And so I think the first assessment is, are the people in that building or that school district willing to do something different? Beyond willingness, I think there's some foundational work that has to be happening in schools in order for them to be ready to make change. And that has to be a level of stability of the staff in the building, being people you can count on to be there to see some change through. And some of the change they may want to make is around the climate, but having a climate that is stable enough that the adults in the building have the wherewithal to have a conversation about what they'd like to have be different.
I think schools that have created enough of a baseline around their school climate so that they can move forward with school change initiatives have had leaders who have often talked with every teacher in their building to find out what's on their mind, have gone after what we sometimes call the early wins or the low-hanging fruit to change school climate. Sometimes in policing they call this the broken window theory, right? So just sort of taking care of the basic needs that teachers might present as concerns also helps calm the climate if it's somewhat chaotic, and then also helps build that trust between teachers and leaders that the leader is going to follow through on what the teachers are suggesting are challenges in the building. We're often looking for schools that have some of that baseline in place, but still have a lot of work to do around a more fully developed school culture that embraces the idea that all students can learn at the highest level and are ready to dig into that work with that underlying belief and mindset that all students can learn.
When we see educators making change in their schools, we see that a growth mindset is really critical. And that growth mindset goes both for the students who are sitting in front of them? Do they have a growth mindset about the students and their ability to learn? And do they have a growth mindset about their colleagues and their ability to work differently? And we think that's really important. There's a lot of conversation about student agency and students seeing themselves as learners, and how teachers need to think about their deep-seated beliefs about students' ability to learn and where they're coming from. But also, sometimes it can be even more challenging when you have an adult who's done something for 20 years when you've worked with them and have assumptions about their ability to do something differently. And so we've seen schools have really explicit conversations about mindset at all of those levels, and seen that be a critical factor in them being able to make change.